Welcome, everybody. Please rise in body and/or spirit for our opening hymn, 1003, Where Do We Come From? Now we're going to sing it all together one time through without repeats. And then this side is going to start without repeats. We'll sing it through twice more. And then after the first line, this side starts and just follow Klaus. But we're going to sing it through together once. Everybody with me? Yeah. Play along.
Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we?
Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going?
Life is an experiment. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause. Yes. All of life, including singing rounds, is a mystery and a wonderment. I am Reverend J. Wolin, the settled minister here at the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. We especially want to welcome our visitors here today, those in person as well as those online on YouTube. We want to let you know that you are always invited to participate in any of our events. We welcome visitors to find out more about Unitarian Universalism by registering on our guest book, which you can find via a link on our homepage at uusrq.org. If you are in person, there's a sign-up sheet right outside the door, and if you sign up either online or in person, you will get our weekly newsletter chock full of all the events that we have, as well as some Zoom links to our virtual events. We invite you to join us for coffee and conversation and some snacks after service, and we look forward to getting to know each other. We have a few special announcements today. First is the Arts Council is pleased to present our annual fall show by our very own UUSRQ members. The exhibit includes paintings, jewelry, fused glass. I was wondering, what was so funny? Oh, okay. Fiber art, mosaics, and more. I was saying, like, that wasn't funny. I wasn't telling a joke. What was going? Be sure to stop by the Lexow Gallery, which is the building right across from the sanctuary after the service, and learn more about the variety of art and talent by our members. Secondly, I want to take a special thanks, and so if they're our Bid Fest, first our organizers, if they could stand up, please, and be acknowledged. As well as there were many others who volunteered and helped on the day. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, yesterday we had about 230 people in this space. It was our our large fundraiser for the year, and really just came off seamlessly, or relatively seamlessly, and was a lot of fun. And now, lastly, I like to invite up our own Bill Payton, who would like to talk about talking.
Good morning. So over the past couple of years in the various roles I've played here, I've had some people say to me, the only time we ever hear from you is when you need money. So that wouldn't be a good topic today after you spent all of your money yesterday. So we thought, wouldn't it be nice if we reached out to all of you at a time when we're not asking for money? So during the next few weeks, we will give each and every member and friend yet another chance for a Zoom meeting. Each of you will receive an invitation to attend a small group Zoom meeting. This is not meant to be a survey. It's just a chance for us to better understand what your participation here means to you. You will have a chance to explain how we can better serve your spiritual, religious, and community needs. What can USRQ do that would make your membership more meaningful? We will talk about issues like, do you feel like you belong? Do you feel valued, seen? Do you feel heard? Do you feel like there is room for people with different ideas? What are you excited about? Our first meetings will be the week after Thanksgiving, and the first invitation will be sent out next week. We will be doing this in alphabetical order, and we will be inviting approximately 50 members and friends per week for the meetings. With time off for the holidays, this program will run through the end of March. For your convenience, you will have the option to attend either an afternoon or an evening session. Most likely, we will have makeup sessions near the end of March. There will be no script. We really look forward to hearing from you. It's meant to be your meeting, so let's talk. And don't worry, we will still find time to talk about money. Thank you.
And now I'd love to invite up once again, returning to share her musical gifts, Joni Adno.
Chuck, hello? How's everybody? Great. We got some special songs today. Whenever life gets you down, Mrs. Brown, and things seem hard or tough, when people are stupid or obnoxious or daft, and you feel that you've had quite enough, just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving and revolving at 900 miles an hour. It's orbiting at 19 miles a second, so it's reckoned the sun that is the source of all our power. The sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see are moving at 1,000,000 times a day in an out of spiral arm 400,000 miles an hour in a galaxy they call the Milky Way. The galaxy itself contains 100 billion stars. It's 100,000 light years side to side. Bulges in the middle, 16,000 light years thick. But out by us, it's just 3,000 light years wide. We're 30,000 light years from galactical central point. We go around every 200 million years, and our galaxy is only one of billions in this amazing and expanding universe. The universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding in all of the directions it can whiz. As fast as it can go, the speed of light, 12 million miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember, when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth. And pray that there's intelligent life somewhere out in space, 'cause there's bugger all down here on Earth. And pray there's intelligent life out there in space, 'cause there's bugger all down here on Earth. Thank you.
So our opening reading will be a responsive reading called The Womb of the Stars by Joyce Atkinson. The womb of the stars embrace us. Remnants of their fiery furnaces pulse through our veins.
We are stars, the dust of the explosions cast across space.
We are of the earth. We breathe and live in the breath of ancient plants and beasts.
Their cells nourish the soil. We build our communities on their harvest of gifts.
Our fingers trace the curves carved in clay and stone by forebears unknown to us.
We are part of the great circle of humanity, gathered around the fire, the hearth, the altar.
We gather anew this day to celebrate our common heritage.
May we recall in gratitude all that has given us birth.
Now join me as we light our chalice in affirming our value of love, which is printed in your order of service, as well on the screen behind me. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love.
Good morning, everyone. This week was a tough topic for children's books, so I wrote one. So today's story is We're All Gonna Die, written by Catherine Bonner. So this is the story about two good friends, Pete and Joe. And Pete and Joe first met up as they were living the caveman's best life, taking shelter in a dark, damp cave with no light and no heat, eating only berries and plants and fruits that they could find and the occasional animal that they could overpower. But one day, as Pete and Joe were watching a storm from the edge of their cave, there was a blast of light and a great big boom, boom, and the tree outside their cave burst apart and had this funny red light oozing out of it. Well, Pete, being the curious guy, crept out of the cave to check it out, while Joe screamed at Pete. I don't speak caveman, but the translation was this: Pete, stop, don't touch, sky gods are mad. take their stuff. They send big boom again. We all die. Well, of course, that didn't happen. And Pete and Joe lived long caveman lives, but better now with a little light and warmth and cooked food to make their living better. So the next time Pete and Joe shared a life was during the Industrial Revolution. And Pete and Joe were embarking on the first steam locomotive, which was going to race against a horse-drawn rail cart. "Come on, Joe," exclaimed Pete as he pushed his friend towards the steam engine that was ready to take off. "We'll be late for this historic event." Joe reluctantly climbed aboard. "I don't know, Pete. What do we know about this machine? Is it safe?" "Of course it is," Pete replied. "It's going to change the world." "But I heard," said Joe, "that it'll go so fast that our bodies can't handle it, that it'll go so fast that our bodies will start to melt." And as the train reached its 30 miles per hour top speed, Joe could be heard yelling over the click-clack of the train, "We're all gonna die!" But of course that did not happen. Joe and Pete and all the passengers were just fine, and they lived long lives where riding the train at speeds of up to 60 miles an hour became common. They can go now from city to city within hours instead of days. So Pete and Joe shared another life together in the late 1800s during the War of Currents. "Hey, Pete," said Joe, looking up from his book, "did you hear about this guy, Tesla?" "No," said Pete. "Who is he?" "Well, apparently this Tesla fella invented an alternating current electrical system. And can you believe this? They want to run this system to every home. This is crazy, and it's dangerous. Just one touch of the wire and people are badly shocked, and one spark in the house catches on fire. This Tesla fella has created something where we're all gonna die." But in spite of Joe's warning, Pete and Joe lived long lives enjoying the benefits of electric lights, having a telephone, and a radio to get the news. In 2012, Pete and Joe were enjoying a trip to Switzerland. "Oh, thanks, Joe, for coming with me to Geneva. I can't wait to hear the results of the latest experiment from CERN." What experiment?" Joe asked cautiously. "Why, proving that the Higgs Boson subatomic particles are real, of course. You know, the ones that give mass to other particles in the Higgs field. They're going to smash particles in this large hadron collider tomorrow." "What?" yelled Joe. "That's here? That's tomorrow? They say that this is going to cause an atomic explosion to end the world, or a black hole that will eat us all up. We're all going to die." "Joe," Pete shouted, "why do you always say that? Throughout history, discovery, explorations, inventions, and changes have created times where we just don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be cautious and think about all the things that could happen, but we could also not be so fearful that we become stuck in our thinking. Remember, you were afraid of telephones and televisions and microwaves. You were fearful of vaccines and even to wash your hands. And Y2K did not end the world. That's for the older folks in here. Sorry, you guys. So instead of fear, let's look at the world in awe. Mystery is exciting. So, why do you keep saying we're all going to die? And Joe looked sheepish and he mumbled, "Because for once I just want to be able to say, I told you so." But Joe could not say that because there were no atomic explosions or world-eating black holes. So in 2025, Pete and Joe were sitting on the steps when Pete sighed, "They say this new AI stuff is super dangerous and could change the course of humankind." Pete looked at Joe. "Go ahead, Joe. You can say it." Joe grinned and he said, "Computers are going to rule the world and we're all going to cry." The end. So I now invite any children and youth to come with me as we do a fun arch project on gratitude. Thank you.
So do we have any physicists? One? Just one? Okay, you're the only one that's going to understand this. And The rest of you, I apologize ahead of time. This is called Started from a Bottom. Started from a bottom and a pair. Started from a bottom and an anti-bottom pair. Started from a bottom and a pair. Started from a bottom and a two-quark pair. Data started from a bottom and a pair. Started when the quantum of the Higgs field put it there. Billions of collision from the jump. Every second, 100,000 that we reconstruct data. Out of them, 100 get a home. And a data bake, sort them with a fine-tooth comb. Found a W decay, double check. Proper energy, origin is offset. Data say we had a Higgs decompose. Double barrel blows and the scatter pattern shows that it started from a bottom in a pair. Started from a bottom in an anti-bottom pair. Started from a bottom in a pair. Started from a bottom in a two-quark pair. Data started from a bottom in a pair. Started when the quantum of the Higgs field put it there. Higgs field space like a drag. Particle is only when you get the field excited. Data start that on to the track. Masses are the struggle to accelerate inside it, so the Higgs will favor heavy as a rule. And the top is outweighed and the bottom all cool. When it passes off excitement from itself, it'll scatter in a chain, so your mess will pick it up, cause it started from a bottom in a pair. Started from a bottom in an anti-bottom pair. Started from a bottom in a pair. Started from a bottom in a two-quark pair. Data started from a bottom in a pair. Started when the quantum of the Higgs field put it there. No new physics, oh no, we don't see that. Found the Higgs field where my new field's at. We don't need to do too much explaining. Standard model still fits all the data. No new symmetry, no, we don't see that. Found the Higgs field where my super field's at. We don't need to do too much explaining. Story hit the same when the scatter hit the chamber, cause it started from the bottom in a pair. Started from the bottom in an anti-bottom pair. Started from the bottom in a pair. Started from the bottom in a two-quark pair. Data started from the bottom in a pair. Started when the quantum of the Higgs field put it there. Started from a bottom in a pair. Started from a bottom in a pair. Did our one physicist understand it? Where's the physicist? Did it make sense?
That was different. I love it. I did pick the topic. I've been asking myself ever since why, but where are we? Oh yes, okay, we are up to centering words. I think I need a little centering right now. And the words are from Mark Nepo, Between the City and the Sea. An old president died just hours after a young man from Idaho was shot in his sleep in Iraq. And now in the Sundarban east of the Himalayas, a tiger licks the eyes of its newborn to see. And further east in Vietnam, a young woman who has worked very hard to learn how to read is reciting a sutra from Buddha in awe how presence moves through words across centuries. At the same time, an unwed mother in Chicago thinks about stealing a blanket as winter stiffens. And moments after this, a manta ray in Ecuador wakes because of the sun's heat on its back. and its sweep over coral startles the moray back into its nook. And as the old president's body cools, a sergeant finds the boy from Idaho. And just now in Chile, a tired couple re-see each other and make love in the afternoon while clouds come in from the Pacific. And just now you stir, the dog stretches, and far away 2 stars collide. A new world forms, and somewhere between the city and the sea, a child is born with an untempered capacity to love. In time, he or she will want to love us all. Remember their face, though you have never seen it. Speak their name, though you have never heard it. Mistake everyone for them. Love everything in the way. As we go into a time of silence, Mark Nepo asks us to contemplate what else might be unfolding at the same moment everywhere else on earth. How does allowing the presence of life in this way affect you? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? These are the questions that tug at us, that pull us towards the depths of our souls for answers. Why were we created? Is there a purpose for why we are here and now? Can science give us any of the answers to these questions? Now, I have to admit, I was not a great science student as a youth. I was more of a dreamer with my head in the clouds, not really wondering about how the clouds came into existence, more into metaphor than understanding. There's a great story, I think that sort of fits this for me, as told by Robert Wilson, who is the founding director of Fermilab, which was a physics laboratory in Illinois. And in the 1960s, the Atomic Energy Commission was worried about activists, and they wanted the lab to build barricades to protect themselves. And Wilson said he had a simpler plan. And so when the activists came, he would go down and meet with them and give them a physics lecture. He is said to have told them that the lecture was enough to disperse even the bravest rabble-rouser. So today, I will try to simplify a little bit about what the Higgs boson is and what it can teach us. Not about science alone, but about awe, humility, and how we live together in community. The Higgs field is an invisible field. The Higgs boson is simply a tiny ripple in that field that scientists detected in 2012. The Higgs boson field is something that has been theorized by physicists since the early 60s, if not earlier. Most prominently, though, by, yes, you may have guessed it, a scientist named Peter Higgs, who did receive a Nobel Prize in science for his work on it. The name boson was coined to commemorate the contribution of the Indian physicist Satyendra Nath Bose, who in 1924 sent a paper on quantum statistics to Albert Einstein, who was so impressed with it that he published it. Now, the Higgs boson field is an invisible field that extends throughout the universe. It converts energy to matter. So I read a lot about this to try and simplify it, in layperson, non-physicist terms. And one of them, which was at least the one that I could understand, was that the entire universe, the field, is like molasses. And that as things, particles, atoms, whatever, get caught up in the molasses, and those that get stuck more have gravity, and others that are lighter just go flying off. And so when the particles hit the field, the particles slow down. Those that interact more with it gain more mass. And without this field, there would be no mass, no structure, no planets, no life at all without it. Things would just go flying off by each other at the speed of light. So in 1998, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN, which the acronym comes from the French reading of that. I was like, how does that come to CERN? I don't understand that. But it does. It's just the French reading for that. Anyway, in collaboration with thousands of scientists and hundreds of institutions from around the world, started building what is called the Large Hadron Collider to prove the Higgs boson existence. And so if you've ever seen the movie Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks, or a book by Dan Brown, the movie references this. The collider is a circular tunnel straddling the Swiss-French border, as deep in the ground as some skyscrapers are tall, in certain places colder than out of space, and designed to recreate for just the briefest instant conditions like the first heartbeat of the universe after the Big Bang. So in 2008, prior to testing the collider, some people who had, Catherine was telling this story, they were terrified, literally, running this experiment could end the universe. There were lawsuits, there were protests, claiming the machine might create a black hole and swallow the Earth. They turned it on. The world did not end, at least that we are aware of. I mean, technically, we could be in a simulation, and then they just turn the simulation back on. But we're assuming not for this sake. And so, I just think there's a lesson in that. One, we should not let fear dissuade us from seeking truth, or knowledge, or wisdom. Yes, we must double, even triple check the potential risks, But at some point, we have to step forward. Now, most decisions we make do not have the capacity to destroy the universe, and that should give us some perspective when we have a decision to make. You know, it's like, well, what's the worst we can do? We're not going to destroy the universe. In July 2012, the collider was completed and tested, and scientists say they were 99.9994% certain. I think that's fairly good odds. I would take those odds about anything. But they were that certain that they found the particle that is consistent with this Higgs Boson theory. And this discovery has allowed scientists to theorize back to just after the Big Bang and understand how stars, universes, planets, etc. were created. The Higgs field tells us that the universe has structure, that form can arise from nothing. And if that is true of matter, perhaps it is true of our lives as well. Where do we come from? What is the structure of our existence? What is the structure of our belief system? What is the foundation upon which we live our lives? Think about these questions as part of our religious journey together. You know, back in the early 1970s, physicist Leon Lederman wrote a book about the search for this elusive particle that he felt could explain the structure of the universe. He wanted to name the book, and pardon my language, the goddamned particle, because of their frustration in not being able to find it. The publisher would not allow the use of that word, though, so instead they entitled the book The God Particle. So quite a different connotation. But we have found the answer now, or as close to it as we can at this point, and that answer has provided us with new wisdom. But also, it has provided us with awe and wonder about the creation of the universe. Awe, however, and I really want to point this out, should not be an end point. It should be a doorway. Right? It is the moment we realize we are part of something greater than ourselves. The discovery of the Higgs boson is awe, but with consequences. It says you are part of a fabric older than memory. As Joy Atkinson wrote in the reading earlier, we are of the stars, the dust of their explosions cast across space, end quote. Our consciousness arose from the universe, out of stardust, shaped over billions of years. And that means our capacity to wonder is itself a gift of creation. Now, I am not suggesting that our awareness changes the cosmos. There are some who believe it does. I think that might be a bit hubris. But it certainly changes us, right? And it changes how we live in our small corner of creation. We are meaning-making creatures. There's the one thing very unique about human beings among all the species on our planet. And our meaning-making is not trivial. It shapes our ethics, love, justice, community, and all the things that matter in life. And on this planet, our home. Meaning-making, though, is not passive. It's something we do together in community. And that shared work of community, justice, care is made possible by the generosity of your spirit, The generosity of your time, and I hear you laughing as well. Yes, the generosity of your finances. So let us now receive today's offering as we continue to make meaning together. Please be as generous as you can for those online or here with a phone. There's a QR code or a link in the YouTube video. Let this sacred time begin. Our next reading is from Chet Ramo, a professor of physics and astronomy. In the course of a lifetime of starry nights, I could not explore them all. I lie on my back, and the light of 10,000 stars enters my eyes. 10,000 subtle but distinct wavelets of energy enter my eyes at slightly different angles from out of the depths of space. And by some miracle, my eyes and brain sort it all out. But each star in its proper place recognize the familiar patterns of constellations and open my soul to the universe, whose length and breadth exceed my wildest imagining. Starlight falls upon me like gentle rain. It blows across me like a furious wind. I am soaked and shaken. I have a friend who speaks of knowledge as an island in a sea of mystery. Let this then be the ground of my faith, all that we know now and forever, all scientific knowledge that we would have of this world or ever will have is an island in the sea. And still, the mystery surrounds us. And now, once more, Joni Adno.
So in practicing this, I tried to get a convincing bang out of my voice, and I couldn't by myself. So I'm going to ask you guys to help me with this song. So let's just practice. You know where it comes in. Who did not have a favorite? What was it? The Big Bang Theory? Was it not your favorite show? So you know where it comes. So it'll go. All started with a big. Excellent. Okay. Counting on you. The whole universe was in a hot, dense state. Then nearly 14 billion years ago, expansion started. Wait. The earth began to cool, the autotrophs began to drool, Neanderthals developed tools, we built a wall, we built the pyramids, math, science, history, unraveling the mystery, all started with a big. Since the dawn of man is really not that long, as every galaxy was formed in less time it takes to sing this song, fraction of a second, the elements were made, the bipeds stood up straight, the dinosaurs met their fate, they tried to leave but they were late and they all died. The oceans and Pangea Sea, you wouldn't want to be set in motion by the saying big. It all started with a big. It's expanding ever out for but one day. It will pause and start to go the other way, collapsing ever inward. We won't be here and it won't be here. Our best and brightest figure that it'll make an even bigger big. Australopithecus would really have us sick of us debating how we're here. We're catching deer, they're catching viruses. Astronomy, Descartes, or Deuteronomy, it all started with a big. Music and mythology, Einstein and astrology, it all started with a big. It all started with a big. Yes. Excellent. Give yourselves a hand.
Now, when the Higgs was discovered, some people said, well, that proves God, as if God were a particle secret away in an unopened box. Others said, well, that disproves God, as if the divine was an equation on a blackboard that needed to be erased. I believe both miss the heart of the matter. The Higgs does not answer the divine mystery, it deepens it. It shows us that reality is subtler than we dreamed, relational in ways that we could not have imagined, and stable and expansive enough to continue to create and nurture life. Now, we still don't know what happened before the Big Bang, or whether before is even the right word. The book of Genesis in the Hebrew Scripture is named pre-creation reality as formless and void, darkness upon the deep. Today, a physicist might use the phrase quantum vacuum or a field of potential. The words differ. The experience standing at the shoreline where our island of knowledge meets the sea, I love that phrase, is the same. We stand within it, finite beings in an infinite mystery. So how does Higgs Boson bring meaning to our lives, you might ask? For some, maybe it gives them comfort just to know, right, that there is a structure to the universe and provides proof that our existence is not just some random occurrence. That may be, but I also hear additional calls. In Higgs Boson, I hear the call to humility. We take our form from relationships that hold us, right? You and I are not the center. We are participants in a much larger field, a field that breeds a kind of spiritual modesty, a freedom, really, from the burden of being special, right? You are free from the burden of being special. We don't need to dominate to matter. In a relational universe, mattering is about mutuality, not control. Second, I hear the call to curiosity. If every discovery lengthens the shoreline of mystery, then our task is not to wall off the island, but to walk its edge with courage. Faith in our tradition is not the opposite of doubt. Faith is remaining open when certainty would be easier. In our tradition, we do not fear the next question. We welcome it. Let us explore not only the depths of the universe, but let us explore the depths of our souls to find what we are capable of being as human beings, to find out what we are capable of being as a congregation. Third, I hear the call to covenant. If physical reality is held in a field, then I believe the human world is held in a field of love. Not a sentiment, but as our values statement said, a discipline, a way of arranging our lives so that more expansive life is possible. Love is the moral field in which our choices acquire weight and get stuck, right? Outside of it, our decisions are massless. They fly off at the slightest breeze of convenience. Inside it, inside the field of love, commitments take shape. Promises hold. And justice can then be formed from that field. Let us imagine what the next evolution of humanity and religion will be. Ultimately, science cannot answer the deep questions of our souls, but it can stir our souls. Religion and science together can help us see ourselves as part of something larger than just ourselves, part of a vast universe. Our religion uses new wisdom and our curiosity to show us how our creation, our lives can have meaning. And if we can grow to better understand the structure of the universe, perhaps there is hope that we can better understand the structure of our existence and learn how we can live in harmony with all existence. The risk of this new knowledge is that it will end a certain way of seeing the world. The Higgs discovery invites us to let that world end, to let a new way of seeing begin, one that honors the field that we inhabit, the web that holds us, the love that gives our life weight. To do this, we must expand our perspective of the universe. You know, often we only see or understand our one small place in the universe, but we must be able to see beyond ourselves and the narrow confines of our specific circumstances. So one of my favorite parables that expresses this comes from the movie Men in Black 2. How many of you have seen it? Some, maybe half. Okay, well, it's about how we deal with the aliens that are among us, but in this one particular scene, in a tiny train locker, a whole civilization of aliens lives within this train locker, and they worship the words that are on a video store business card that says, "Be kind, rewind." So those of you who laughed have probably watched videos, but I imagine there are some of you who may never be aware of what that even means. Before streaming, there were DVDs, and before DVDs, there were these things called videotapes that you had to rewind in a machine before you returned it to a store. And yes, there used to be stores that renting you video, and there are still a few around, actually. I did check. I think there's one Blockbuster left somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But there are other still video stores around. It's really interesting. Anyway. I think the scene is poignant, though. I mean, think about it. They made a whole religion around a business card. And just from that little message, "Be kind, rewind," the message they received was, I'm quoting here, "Go back and reconcile your past so that you can move tranquilly into your future." So even within this small universe, right, they found meaning. And at the end of the movie, the characters in the movie, not the aliens in the locker, the ones on Earth, they open a door to realize that they are just living in a train locker of a larger universe. So my point being that even within our universe, we can find wisdom we need to make meaning in our lives. And the Higgs story cracks open that door a little. It insists there is more that we can see, more than we can control. It also insists that the more is not random chaos. It is structured enough for life to arise, fragile enough, though, to require our care, and beautiful enough to warrant our awe. So what do? We practice, right? We practice living as if interdependence were real. This field of love is real because it is. We practice humility by remembering we are not separate. We practice curiosity by asking better questions. We practice covenant by honoring our promises, repairing our breaches, and centering love even when it is not convenient. It means choosing to organize our community not around winning or purity or fear, but around our shared values that center love, the power that holds us together. So let me ground that in our daily congregational lives. When we make space for a newcomer, when we attend to someone's grief, when we forgive a slight, when we change our mind, when we have learned something new, we are acting as if love is a field, invisible yet real, giving our actions heft. A small gesture maybe, a note, a meal, a ride, talking to people, right, has more mass than it seems because it participates in the field that holds us together. If the universe is the answer, then perhaps the question for us is this: given what we know now, how shall we live together? Let us live as if the unseen field of love were as real as the Higgs field, because it is. Let us move with the gravity of compassion. Let us give our ideals mass by acting on them, and let us widen our island of knowledge. Not to conquer the sea, but to sail it with courage and with joy. And when we come to that shoreline where our knowing meets the wide water of mystery, may we step forward not with fear, but with gratitude. Gratitude for a universe that makes meaning possible. Gratitude for one another. Gratitude for the chance in this brief moment to be co-creators of a more humane world. Perhaps we cannot change the fabric of the cosmos, but we can impact the fabric of our lives and our world. May it be so. Please rise and by the Andor Spirit for our closing hymn 1064, Blue Boat Home. Out of nothing, something was created. Out of something, meaning was created. Out of meaning, justice was created. And out of justice, wholeness was created. And out of wholeness, the field of love is experienced. Please join me now in extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this
flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Go forth, be curious, be compassionate, be courageous. Thank you for your presence here today.